actually move by itself. Hello and welcome to part 2 of episode 48 of Missile Entry's Ford Falcon 351 Crusty Wagon Project. Now, where we left off, I had done maybe half of the job, and I did say to myself last weekend that I would endeavour to get some Bailey channel for that front passenger side door, and the very last thing in the afternoon on Sunday I got down to Clark Rubber and I got some Bailey channel. Now, they had 3 different kinds of Bailey channel there, but this Torana Bailey channel was the closest Bailey channel I could find from the 3 generic choices that I had. And I have pried a bit of the old Bailey channel out of that passenger side door and done a bit of a test fit, and I believe this $48 worth of Bailey channel will solve my problem. Hopefully it stays in the door frame once the window winds down, but I will Celastic this in if I have to. The conundrum right now is trying to get all of the old Bailey channel out of the door. I've spent some of Sunday afternoon, or evening, I forget now, prying the remainder of the Bailey channel out of this part of the door. It's like the entire car's Bailey channels are quite flexible and usable, except for this door here. For some reason the Bailey channel in this door was completely gone, and the remainder of it was like concrete. So I've been chiseling away at it to try and get it out so I can put this new supple soft Bailey channel in, so I can reinstall my window glass over there and the door trim and all those excellent things that'll make this part of the project tidier and more complete. I'm just one door away from it. And in other news, I have one roll of tinting tape. Now this is the 35% tinting tape. I've actually got a holeless bolus and bought 7 meters worth now because I'm kind of planning to tint my wife's car and the driver's side window of my sedan. If you look over there, you can see I have tinted windows, but for some reason my driver's side sedan window has no tint in it, and it has never closed properly since I got the car, so some shenanigans have gone on there. But I want to tint that window so my hectic blacked out interior can be darker and more blacked out. So where was I? This will be the tinting tape that does the glass on the tailgate, because that's the 35% tinting tape. And I'm still waiting for the 20% tinting tape. Waiting, and the 20% tinting tape will go on those side windows. I actually showed a great deal of restraint because I was very tempted to go 5% on these rear windows, because do I really need to look out of these windows? Not really. But in the interest of remaining road legal, I'm going to go 20% on here as well, because I didn't know it until I went and researched it, but you can go 20% on all the rear passenger windows, 35% on the front passenger windows, and 35% on the rear window. So in order to get it as dark as possible, we're going 20 on these windows and 35 on everything else, because I want the interior of my car to be dark, even though it's beige. But you know, we'll do what we can with what we've got. So right now I'm going to get to doing some chiseling, and I'll pick this back up when I'm about to put the Bailey channel on the door, because the Bailey channel is the important part of this next step. So I'll pick this back up when all the tedious chiseling is done. Time to apply the Bailey channel. I've actually gone ahead and applied the vertical strip of Bailey channel, because once I started I thought this will be pretty straightforward, and I just ran it all the way up the door there into the corner, and I have cut a 45-degree angle on this other section of Bailey channel, and I'm going to run it all the way along here and then down into the bottom of the door at the front, and from there I'm going to put the glass in plus a few extra things to get the door to work again. And let's see how that goes. That is the leftover bit. Now let's have a look inside that door frame. Look at all the felt goodness. Goes all the way up there, all the way down there. All the way down there as well. So theoretically I should just be able to reassemble the window regulator and slide the glass into place. I can button all this up. Alright, the window regulator has been reassembled, so all I have to do now is slide the glass back into the door, line everything up, click the retaining clips in, and that should be that. Give it a test wind in the new window Bailey channels. Here we go. Alright, window works. Woo! Down she goes. And back up again. Finds its way right into the Bailey channel, doesn't flop out. So that's great news. Time to put the door cards back on and see how it looks. Handles a bit more. Ta-da! All I need to find now is a countersink machine thread screw to hold that winder on, or I can steal one from the rear passenger side door that far fewer people will be using. Oh yeah. While I was frolicking around in this random pile of bolts that came with the wagon all those months ago, I found a bolt that looks a lot like this, except slightly shorter, so I deployed it into the left rear passenger door window winder, and it works! I'm going to demonstrate now because I don't want you thinking I'm leading you astray by telling you falsehoods. So, there it is. It's got a thread in it. Oh, this window tape's coming off already, never mind about that. So, it means this one can go in the front passenger side door as soon as I find the winder. There it is on the floor. Come on, in you go. Tremendous success! All I have to do now is wait for my 20% tinting tape to turn up. I'm out of time. I'll pick this up on day 6. Here we are at day 6 and still no 20% tape. So it's the weekend and I would like this project to be behind me. I'm just going to use the 35% tape on those rear quarter wagon windows and 35 on the tailgate window, because that was what I was supposed to do anyway. So I'm going to hook in. It's Friday night and family's inside doing family things and it's garage time for me, so I'm going to have at it. Alright, so obviously that's roughly cut onto the outside of the window. Now I need to clean the inside of the window sufficiently and peel the tape off that and get it on the inside of the glass and trim it up. Should probably throw some light in there so I can see what I'm doing. Well, 2 hours later I've got this window done. Crashed and burned on the other one, so I used the remainder of the old roll of tape to do this window, and it's garbage. There's so much dirt on the inside of the window frame. There's actually dirty water leaching in underneath the tinting tape along the top of the window, and I've squeegeed it out as best as I can. But I imagine if I sat in the back of the wagon and looked out the window, it'd be a bit grubby and gross, but I don't sit back there, so I'm not going to worry about it. As for the rest, I'll pick it up in the morning on day 7. So it's day 7, hopefully the 7th and final day of this window tinting saga. I only have 2 windows to go now. So I'm going to unroll my new roll of tinting film and make 2 cutouts for 2 windows for it, and hopefully everything goes relatively smoothly today compared to last night's effort and I get this job out of the way. Okay, the tailgate glass is out because I attempted to wind the glass out while the tailgate was down. It popped out of one of its runners, so at that point I was hamstrung because I couldn't get it back into the door without pulling the thing apart. So I've pulled the glass out and I will be tinting it now. So I'm going to get my 76cm wide tinting roll and cut 1.3 meters out of it and use half for this bit and then half for the other window. on the window. A whole bunch of particulates have made their way underneath it, but I'm just going to leave it as it is because I'm sure it'll look fine from where I'm sitting. So there you have it. Only one window to go. I'll leave this one here to sit for the time being before I stick it back into the car. I'm not sure I'm that keen to wind this up into the frame with this tape so wet and soft. So I'll leave that here for the time being and get stuck into the other window. Okay, it's now day 8 of my window tinting and window belt saga, and after putting that tint on the window yesterday, it occurred to me that the back of this car hasn't really had a good clean out, so I went and did all of that because I was lying around in all kinds of grit and dust and gross stuff. So I cleaned it all out, put all the stuff away that I didn't need to have living in the back of the car onto a shelf in the garage, and then left it at that so I could let my tailgate glass cure overnight. So today on day 8, I'm going to put this tailgate glass back in, stick those hot wire wheels that are sitting on my back deck back into the back here because that's where they're going to live for the time being, and wrap this up. Right, it's alive. Hooray. It actually moved by itself. The tinted windows look much better in the bright sun. That's the effect I was looking for. I wanted the inside of the car to be dark. And that is indeed what it does. Okay, summary time for episode 48.5 of Miss Industries' Ford Falcon 351 Crusty Wagon Project. Now, as you can see here, the windows are all tinted black. That includes the window on the tailgate, and new door belts have been installed. The main aim of this mission was to replace these door belts with fresh, supple ones. The side project turned out to be replacing the Bailey channel in this door because it was completely gone. So that's a project I've been putting off for a long time, and I'm glad it is behind me. This window tinting saga turned out to be a lot more hassle than it's worth. To be perfectly blunt, I would pay a professional $400 or $250 or $300 or whatever to allow them to do a professional job before I'd ever try to tackle this again. The car it's probably still is quite grubby, and all of the window seals that you couldn't pull out of the car have a lot of impregnated dirt in them, so once you start applying solution to the window to get the tinting film onto it, it starts to pull all that dirt out of the crevices everywhere and make your life miserable. So I've got to admit, it looks good from the outside, but it won't bear up under close inspection like a car that you're driving around every day and looking out the windows of. That being said, the front window glass was all thoroughly cleaned and tinted in a far more sterile environment than the rest of the car, so it'll do for the time being. Can't even tell that that's 35% tint and that's 20% tint, to be honest, because it's tinting over a darkened area of the vehicle, so it looks fine.